series with different levels, and we're excited about it, and we're going to be recording this session so other teachers can access this later. And this is all based around the Canvas agreements. So wanted to make sure that everybody got access to the slide deck. I know Nicole put it in the chat, but there's also a bit.ly there at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen that she's sharing as well. So this Canvas PD series is it's gonna go, I think, until March. We have 3 different levels of it that will show you. We have kind of a table of contents that will show you a little bit. And we're just going to like break it down. These are going to be short little sessions. We're going to just share some information with you. And again, we're going to build on that week after week. Nicole, if you don't mind popping to the next slide for me. There we are. There we are. I'm going to go ahead and introduce myself. I'm the photo in the center there. My name is Carrie Kunert, and I am an elementary teacher in background, but most recently working on the digital curriculum team as a TOSA. So I'll have my other 2 co-hosts introduce themselves as well.
I'm unmuted, so I'll go next. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm Nicole Carter. I'm also part of the digital curriculum crew. My background's actually in secondary, and yeah, excited to be here with everyone.
Hello, it sounds like an awesome meeting, by the way. We're all like jazzed. Anyways, my name is Chris. I'm the person on the left-hand side, and I work with Nicole and Carrie. I've been in Beaverton for a few years. My position, TOSA, just like Carrie and Nicole, also Canvas admin, which means my job is to lovely take care of this beautiful product. So yeah, we're super excited to be here to work with you and to share when we rolled out the Canvas agreements, it was kind of like, here's our goal. Our goal is to make a similar experience for all students and parents, and as much as we can for teachers. That's the goal. But we haven't had a chance to really roll into getting into it, and that's what this process is going to be. So I'm super excited. And kudos to Carrie and Nicole, because they're the ones who actually brainstormed this process, and I'm super excited to be just part of that.
Okay, so how our little session is going to work, our structure is going to work for today is that we're going to go ahead and, hey, we're doing the first one right now. We're going to introduce ourselves and just talk through the structure. Then we're going to hop into the first topic. So we'll send you to that topic slide in just a second, and we're going to talk through that topic exclusively. When we're done, we're going to have a Q&A on that specific topic. So if you have a Canvas question, because we're going to be recording it and we want to stop at a certain point and have everything actually matching that specific topic. So we will be talking today about notifications and announcements. So that's the area that we'll be talking about today. So when we're done, if you have any questions about that, awesome. Then we're going to go ahead and stop recording, and then it's just open. Like if you have any other Canvas question, we're happy to address that as long as we have time permitting. We do have our next session that we need to be prepared for prior to 2 o'clock. So we're hoping to be done by 1:45 today, but if we have additional Canvas questions at the end, we're happy to address those as well. There's some resources there. I wanted to show you, this is how it's going to work. We kind of set it up like a binge watching playlist. We're going to have different episodes, if you will. So we are in right now Discovery Level 1, and that is our introductory level to Canvas and our Canvas agreements. And all of this was built right off of our Canvas agreements. So if you look at that Discovery Level 1, that is perhaps your first year that you are in Canvas. It is learning Canvas to communicate with your students on a basic level, assign things with due dates. That's kind of the premise of Level 1. And if you see there, we have 11 different episodes, and those will be various Wednesdays all the way until, I don't know, January, February-ish. We'll continue this series. So every week we will come out with a new episode. We're also doing simultaneously Level 2. And Level 2 is like next level. So once you've learned how to do all those things in Level 1, then you can proceed to Level 2. And Level 2 is to create. So it says at the top there, to engage my students in various learning tasks. Students are submitting assignments and I'm providing them feedback. So these Canvas agreements are obviously built for non-CDL time. So CDL may expedite your world, right? You may want to go ahead and learn Level 1 and Level 2 simultaneously because we have to kind of move the ball a little faster than normal, right? So that is Level 2, and Level 2, convenient enough, Level 1 is at 1 o'clock, Level 2 will be at 2 o'clock most weeks on Wednesday. So we will offer, again, at 2 o'clock, we will be teaching how to build in modules. And then level 3 is like your upper level, explore and collaborate. My students can navigate through modules, use discussions groups, and collaborative opportunities. And that is higher level, more complex Canvas concepts. And so what we're going to do is session level 2 isn't quite as long as level 1. So we're going to pick up on level 3 when level 2 is over, if that makes sense. So by the end of March, we will have covered 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to jump into a whole series of external tools. So how could you use Adobe Spark in there? How can you use Twitter? How could you use Wakelet? So we're saving that for the spring. So that is the structure, and all of these are linked in TeacherSource. So you can go ahead and register for any one of these classes to get it on your calendar so you can remember when they're happening. So that is our table of contents there and our game plan.
I think we kind of already covered this, but just to know that this will link you back to TeacherSource for registration. But I do want to make sure that because we get these questions and emails a lot, our plan here is that these videos will all be linked within the user agreements and eventually will be created into an anytime course where you could watch the series of videos, which should be about 15 to 20 minutes in length, and get PDUs at that point. So if you are here in the live session, you'll be getting that PDU with us, but it isn't going to be until later, like in January, when we compile all of the videos together, that we'll have an anytime course with PDUs. So we just wanted to make sure, clear that up, so we hopefully don't get as many emails in the end. Okay, keep going, sorry.
No, perfect. Okay, so level 1, episode 1, super exciting. We're going to go ahead and launch with how to set up all your user controls in Canvas. And we'll be talking about the following 3 concepts today: account settings, notifications, and global notifications. So without further ado, here we go, Chris.
One of the things we wanted to spend a few minutes to help teachers is just basically letting Canvas work for you. In order for Canvas to work for you, there's a few settings that you can go ahead and create as a Canvas user. The cool thing is that a lot of these things that we're going to show you today relate to parents and students. So this is your teachers, you're here with us, hanging out with us today, but a parent who has a Canvas account can also do much of the same thing, and students can do as well. And that's what I love about Canvas, is that the user experience is pretty much the same across the board. Not always, but pretty much the same across the board. And so the first thing I want to do is just basically show how to use your account settings. So I'm logged in Canvas. My Canvas looks a little bit different than yours because of my position as a Canvas admin, but on the top left-hand corner is where it says account. And that's really where I can go and I can do a lot of things that I need to do to personalize Canvas to fit for me. So again, once you log into Canvas, on the left-hand side, you'll see account and dashboard and courses. And so account will be at the top. And once you click on account, you're going to go ahead and click on settings. And this is where you can go ahead and say, okay, what are some of the things that I can tweak or change or personalize for me? And again, same rules apply for teachers and parents. So again, log into Canvas. On the left-hand side, you'll say account, and then you can go ahead and choose settings. And the first thing I want you to do is notice that when you click and you move browse over top, you can actually go ahead and add a picture. And so I'm not asking that you add a photo. You don't have to add photos, but if you feel comfortable adding a picture of yourself, by all means, our students have, and you can go ahead and take a picture directly right here in Canvas if you want to, which I'm not going to because I really like my original picture, or you can go ahead and upload it. And once I'm done, then I can go ahead and save that photo. The other thing I want you to see is on the right-hand side, you'll notice you'll have an email address. Right now, it should be your school address. For students, it'll be their student email, and for parents, it'll be the parent. Well, if you want to get notified by phone number or by another email, you could actually go ahead and add another email to be communicated with. And you can even add another contact on how I want to be notified. And so those are 2 things you can do. You can add another phone number, you can add another email if you want to. And also just below where it says edit settings, you can also go ahead and do a few things. You can go ahead and change the language. If you are a Spanish speaker, a native Spanish speaker, or a native, just a different language other than English, you can change the system language. It does not mean the instruction comes in that language. So if Carrie's giving me homework, she's my teacher, my homework is still going to come in English, but the language for Canvas will be in Spanish or whatever language I choose. The other thing I can do is choose right here where it says pronouns. And so we set it up so that students, teachers, and parents can go ahead and change their pronouns. And once you've done that, you do want to make sure you hit update your settings. The last thing I want to show you as a teacher is super vital, which is going to be scrolling down, and you're going to see where it says web services. And what you're going to want to make sure is on the left-hand side where it says registered services, Google Drive is on the left-hand side. If it's not, if you're like, well, Chris, it's over here, over under services, it's okay. You can just click on Google Drive. It's going to ask you to authorize and log in with your authentication. And it's going to ask you to allow Google and Canvas to be best friends. And you're going to say, sure. And then you'll notice down below, now Google Drive is authenticated. And that's a big step, because when we are giving assignments to students and we're asking them to create Google Documents or Google Slides, that is a good step, or first important step for students and teachers to take as far as integrating that Google integration.
So I was kind of going in as Chris was talking and making sure that I had everything he was registering or talking about. So I'm going to go into notifications myself. And how does my screen look for your guys' perspective? Do I need to zoom in?
You could probably zoom in as well if you wanted to.
Okay. So I think one thing to think about when it comes to account notifications is how often do you personally want to be given an email on certain things? And I have in fact registered my email, or my email's on there. I've registered my Twitter, and then I've gone through and just made sure to turn on and off any of the push notifications. I've pretty much turned off all of the text messages. Even though I went ahead and added or registered my cell phone, you can see here, I've turned them all off. I did not want to get any text messages, but that's a personal preference on whether or not you want to be updated on those things. So I think kind of just going through here and making a decision about what you would like to be notified on. I think sometimes for me, it's whenever a student submits something, or if they submit with a comment, I like to be notified so that I can go in and respond if they're, needing help with something specifically. I think same thing with discussions, I would probably turn on. I don't have it turned on right now, do I? Oh, I do have a push notification turned on. So that's when I'm on my iPad, I can get notifications on that. Is there anything else on here, Chris, that you feel like people should pay close attention to?
If you scroll at the top, you'll see at the very top, it'll say account notifications. Well, this is also saying that as a parent, again, parent, teacher, student, you can actually go to each course and set notifications for individual courses as well. So if you're a parent and you're like, oh my gosh, that one course is blowing up, you can actually turn off notifications for individual courses. And Nicole, if you just click on any of those icons, the bell or whatever it is, if you just click on it, you'll see as soon as you click on it, up comes that menu that allows you to show how often you want to be notified. Yeah. And like I said, and again, if you go to any Canvas course, you'll see where it says course notifications, and you can turn them off or increase them or dial them back as well.
Can I ask a question at this point? So at the beginning of the year, a bunch of us that were on Canvas were sharing courses just because we were scared and wanted to make sure. And there's one course in particular, a fourth grade class, that I keep getting all her notifications, and I don't want to mess with her settings, so I let them go on, but I'd like to turn them off.
Yeah. Nicole, do you feel comfortable just clicking on your dashboard and just choosing any course? It doesn't matter which one.
Thank you.
So you could choose any course you want. And then you'll notice that on the right-hand side, it'll say course notifications at the very bottom right there. And that's where you can go to any course, click on it. It looks familiar because it's almost the same thing, but notice at the very top is a little slider button that you can turn off the notifications for the entire course. Or again, you could dial down very specific, like how often, my phrase this year is inform me, don't annoy me. So how often do I want to be informed versus annoyed? So that's where you can do that.
I never want to be informed of a fourth grade course. I got enough to do. Thank you.
Yep.
All good. Excellent. I wanted to share my screen because I actually happen to have an example on there of what I'm supposed to talk about. I'm talking about global announcements, and global announcements are an announcement that comes from your system admin. So that is Chris. That's Chris sending us all, like, here, just a heads up right here. It's how to, I haven't read it yet, Chris, and I'm sure it's fascinating. But I haven't quite read it exactly how I'm supposed to switch from, looks, it appears like a quarters, right? Quarters. So I need to read this, obviously, but let's pretend I'm really busy and I didn't read it right now. I can go ahead and use the X in the upper right-hand corner. So he's just kind of pushing a notification to make sure it's nice and big and bright that I read it. All right, Lesper says, you have now moved it to your global announcements menu. So beautiful. Okay, let's pretend I didn't have time to read that right now, but I really want to go back later and find out what Chris was telling me. So I can go over back to my account. All the way back down at the bottom, we have the global announcement. So it just stores them in there for me, right? So I can like get it out of my way temporarily. And I can go back and see what it was that he said. You'll notice at the top that we have the most current one. So this is what he just told us. And then we have recent ones. So I can go back here. Oh my gosh, I forgot what he told us at the beginning of the year, what I needed to set up. They're kept in here. I believe it's for about 4 months. And so you can go back here and here are the messages. It's really nice. I always hate that. Every time I close some window and you have to like figure out where on earth that announcement went and how I find that again. So I wanted to make sure that you all saw that you had this global announcements there. And again, those are from the admin, not from a teacher to a student. That's from Chris letting us know something that we need to know about Canvas big picture.
And sometimes those can have like links to surveys that we need students to complete, etc. So I think knowing that this is there is super, super helpful.
And since Chris's motto is not to annoy us, he's only going to send them when they are crucial and they are important information that we should be reading.
Totally true. That's my goal. Yeah, and like we mentioned earlier, what I love about this, the beauty is, again, parent, student, and teacher will all experience the same thing. So your students will get announcements from probably somebody from your school, potentially, on surveys coming up. And again, they can do the same thing, click on their account and click on that announcement to see the previous ones. This is different than a course announcement. Just to let you know, there's a difference between you potentially sending an announcement in your course versus, hey, this is for the entire school or for the entire school district.
So the way that we've kind of scheduled this or fit it in here is that we're trying to give you brief chunks of information. And we've also really want to make sure that we're showcasing the help that Canvas provides as well. So most of the time we're going through our user agreements, we're phrasing it in a way that is a short piece of information. And then we're also linking out in the slide deck to the Canvas support sections where they mostly phrase it in the form of a question. So, how do I view dismissed global announcements? So that is a link that will take you into the Canvas support section, answering that specific question. So this in turn becomes a space for you to go back to information. And we will provide the video of today's session on the slide deck as well. So it's kind of a one-stop shop for everything. And I think we'll go ahead and stop the recording unless, Carrie, did we want to keep going if we had topic specific questions? Is that what we were thinking? Okay.
That would be awesome. I think we'd like to limit the first questions to anything about what we've talked about so far that would perhaps be useful in the video for other people to watch. So if you have a question about account settings, notifications, or global notifications, we will answer those now.